Hey, what's up guys? This is Anthony from Anthony's Customs, and for this review, we are looking at the new Marvel Legends Build-A-Figure Crimson Dynamo, which I'm just going to say right off the top of the bat, please keep watching the video. It's one of the better ones they've released recently. It's not perfect, of course, there's some stuff that could be better on it, but it is a really nice Build-A-Figure. This is the kind of thing we should be getting from them on a regular basis, and then we should get, in my opinion, some bigger ones as well. But this is kind of like the sweet spot, I think, where they could consistently release figures like this as Build-A-Figures and pretty much keep everyone happy. That's my take on it. I'd like to know what you think, so let me know in the comment section below. What are your thoughts on Build-A-Figures like this one in terms of size and quality and that kind of thing, and character significance? I think this is a decent one. Of course, we could get better, to be clear, but this is the kind that makes me content. So let's go ahead and get it off the stand and take a closer look. This guy stands roughly, let's say 8¼ inches, which makes him pretty close to 21 centimeters. And just for quick size comparison, here's your average Marvel Legends build, though they're starting to creep even bigger and bigger. That's a Bucky Cap figure, and he comes up to the star, to the chest. So that's, like I said, it's not huge, but it's definitely got enough size to it, enough mass that I think most people will be satisfied, so that's okay. As far as paint on this guy goes, there isn't a ton. We do have the star here, which has kind of like a glowing effect. How well that's achieved, it's good enough. It looks kind of more like just sloppy paint rather than glow, but yeah, well, it's okay. We do have some paint throughout the hands, which is actually really clean. We have silver and red. I believe the red part is the painted part. That's what it looks like to me. And so that's okay. It's nice and clean. Matches the rest of the molded red. And if it is the painted silver, it's kind of looking like painted. No, I believe the silver is molded. Either way, the colors match wonderfully, so that's really nice. They do a really good job of molding the colors that they need on this guy, which does alleviate some of the painting issues. However, it does give him sort of a bland look. There's no wash anywhere, so all of this craggy looking metal on here is just not. Like, you can't notice it unless you're up close. A wash on this guy would go a real long way, or a dry brush, or both. I like to do both if you're really trying to bring out those details. Either way, he is missing paint in that regard, but we have some nice things. These guys right here around the arms are transparent. That gives him a really nice look. Different types of materials always helps. And then the face is pretty clean. Again, we have that glowing kind of orange effect on the visor, but not really. It's not bad, but there's not much going on there. Back here we have a little bit of paint, and that's about it. So it is fairly basic. Again, Hasbro is still nowhere near on the same level as Toy Biz in terms of paint. Not talking about quality at all, just the amount of paint. We get almost none with Hasbro. Could they do more? I think so. And still be able to have a profitable figure, but apparently they don't think that. You guys can let me know what you think about that. But it still is a nice looking figure overall. The only thing that stands out to me as being unappealing is, and I don't know how well it's going to show up on camera, obviously they had mold lines for these shoulder pieces, so there's a 3-part mold it looks like. Actually probably would have been 4 to 6. Anyway, we have mold lines going across the front here, or the front and the back in the same position. And it looks like they were more obvious at one point, and then they're either dealt with after the fact, or they had to modify the mold in order to make them less obvious, but they still do show up. It's not as bad on camera as it is in real life, but a little bit of paint would easily have fixed that, so unfortunately that's not the case. But otherwise, it's a really solid looking figure. It looks like it's used in a couple of parts we've seen before, but mostly new stuff, so that's cool. I'm pleased with it. So aesthetically, I'm going to give this guy, I'll give him an 8. It looks pretty nice. These transparent things kind of pushed me over the top of it being a 7, because no paint on it basically would have given it a 7. But still, pretty nice looking overall. There are no accessories or alternate pieces, so a 0 for that. And then as far as the articulation goes, there's not going to be a whole lot to talk about, but we'll run it. We do have ball peg down at the neck and at the head, so you can move his head around sufficiently. Not that you would need a ton of range, but what is reasonable is doable. The shoulder pads peg in, so they have a little bit of flex. We're just going to pop them off so that I can show you the shoulders, and just understand that the shoulder armor, did I say pegs? I meant pads. Whatever I said. The shoulder armor does impede the shoulders, obviously. That's just to be expected. But you do get range out of the shoulders as you would expect, so that's all fine. You do get your swivel right there. Single jointed elbow, obviously limited by these guys, and he's bulky, but it'll be enough. And then you have your wrist swivel and hinge. Pretty much standard there. For the torso, they did a decent Actually, a really good diaphragm joint. Just goes to show, I mean, most of their ab crunches don't get much better range than this anyway, and this looks way better and is way more versatile because you get the leaning side to side, you get the front and back, you get the twist, you get the middle of the road type of pose. It's just all kinds of more versatile, so that's really nice. I like that. There is no waist on this guy, unfortunately. The thighs don't go out as far as I would like. I'm not sure why they don't go farther, but I can't get mine to go. Maybe mine are just stuck, but I feel like I'm going to break it if I go any farther. Not that he needs to be able to do the splits, but this is a review, so we cover everything. You can decide how important some things are for yourself. Going forward, plenty of range. Almost horizontal, so that is okay. You do get your thigh swivel in there. Double jointed knee, pretty limited on this guy. Not going to get a whole lot out of it. Again, do you need that? Probably not. You can decide for yourself. I don't think it's that big of a deal. We do have ball hinge ankles on this guy, which I'm pretty sure we've seen these feet, maybe even the whole lower leg before. I don't remember specifically, but it doesn't really matter. This is Ironmonger. I think this was Ironmonger. And maybe the Shield Bot, whatever that thing's called. Whatever. Decent ankles. Relatively limited because he's big and chunky, but for the size, you know, they don't go that far forward, but you do get ankle rocker posability and enough to adjust him in a decent pose, and I think that'll be fine. So articulation on this guy, short of the diaphragm joint, it's only going to be a 7. That joint right there is exceptional, but that's not enough to make him exceptional overall. But a 7 on a BAF like this for articulation is fine. Of course, no accessories, that's a bummer, but it does look good and pose well enough, and it's fine. It is more than satisfactory. If you're into Crimson Dynamo, then you should definitely pick this up. If you're just into pretty cool looking figures or robots and things like that, then yeah, pick it up. It's a fun one. Probably don't build the whole wave. It's a very weak wave overall, especially if you're not into movie figures. If you're not, then it's a super weak wave. But you could find this guy on the eBays if you really wanted to. And I think you wouldn't be disappointed. So, final verdict on this guy, I'm going to give him an 8. I think the lack of accessories doesn't bother me on this character. It would be nice, but it's not something that I'm going to really be missing. And it's a nice looking figure. It's nice and shiny where the silver is. Definitely could use some paint application, but it's still going to look good on a shelf and pose well and be fun. So there you go, guys. Thanks for watching. Let me know what you think about this figure in the comment section below. But now you know what I think, and hopefully that'll help you make your buying decision. So if you enjoyed this video, please do give it a thumbs up. If you didn't, give it a thumbs down. And if you haven't subscribed, you might just want to. I have new videos out just about every single day. Sometimes we don't, but I do my best. And for the days I don't, I have thousands of videos already on the channel. So make sure you come back for all of that. And in the meantime, keep collecting.